Most people are trying to change what's happening to them without ever changing who it's happening from. Hi, my friends. I'm Diane Armitage. Welcome back to the Catalyst Code, where we crack the internal code that creates the external result. I'm your host, and after 27 years as Bob Proctor's writing partner and protege, I've been helping people all over the world step into their greatness, their better in their world, whatever that better might be. Each week, Catalyst Code teaches you how to activate momentum, rewire your mind, and create results that stick. You're the catalyst. This is the code. So let's go. If you've ever felt like you're doing all the right things for more money and nothing is really shifting, this is why. There are 3 pillars to quantum leaping anything in your life, including your personal wealth picture. And it's not what most minds jump to. There's all that usual stuff out there, pillar 1, investments, pillar 2, savings, pillar 3, curbing debt, blah, 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 blah. No. That's the surface stuff. And no, I'm not talking about what's typically being taught out there by mindset coaches either. Like pillar 1, make the goal card, pillar 2, affirmations, pillar 3, vision board. All those tools have their place, absolutely. But none of them work to bring you more money unless you activate the foundational 3 pillars of change. Not just one, all 3 together. And this is where people unknowingly break the whole thing. The great author and lecturer Neville Goddard understood this way back in the 50s and the 60s. I don't think a lot of people got it because most people settle for incremental gains in their financial picture instead of understanding that it can easily be a quantum leap kind of thing. It's these 3 foundational pillars of change behind it all. Absolutely no question. And here's the part most people don't realize. What you're experiencing with money or without money isn't random. It is patterned because wealth is actually a state of consciousness. Neville Goddard once noted that if you are ever hindered, it can only be the state of consciousness in which you abide that hinders you. You are freed or constrained by the state of mind in which you persist. It is our state of mind that frees or constrains the plentiful supplies of resources all around us. It is our state of mind that encourages us or scolds us for asking for what we deserve. It's also our state of mind that recognizes or disregards the 2 vast unlimited resources within each of us, the creator and the catalyst. And I'll get into this more in just a few moments. Now, Neville said that there are only 3 fundamentals required to changing your life: self-observation, definition of aim, and detachment. Those are the 3 pillars of change: self-observation, definition of aim, and detachment. So let's talk about self-observation. You'll never get around to changing your life until you recognize and discover the self, the identity that you're currently operating in. And the only way to discover this is to observe your current reactions to life. I call this conscious attention, conscious awareness, conscious attention, conscious awareness. I talk about this all the time with my mentoring clients. You are suddenly turning the scope on you, what you're thinking and saying and reacting to. And let me give you a really important hint here. Most people never stay here long enough to see anything real. The sum total of these reactions, your underlying belief systems, define your state of consciousness. And your state of consciousness results in the life you're living now, your current circumstances, your current situations. It's always our inner state that attracts our outer life. What thoughts are you choosing? What feelings are you identified with? Neville once said, you are freed or constrained by the state of mind in which you persist. So where are you severely restricting the scope of your life? Now, this is where it gets a little uncomfortable for most people, because what you start to see here isn't random. It's patterned. It's just like the 1999 movie with Keanu Reeves, The Matrix. For some people, just as some characters in the movie, perception explains more than they really want it to. I mean, we're entering red pill territory now. In the movie, Thomas Anderson, played by Keanu Reeves, senses that something is so off in the world that he lives in that he spends his off hours as Neo looking for what that is. This is what I call living in the matrix identity. Most people never suspect that they're there. They never even go looking in the first place. And as Morpheus in the same movie said, so famously, you've been living in a world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from your truth. In order to see that truth and begin operating from that truth, a change of consciousness is required. And that change first starts with what your false identity, what I call the matrix identity, has been telling you all along about you. Now, some people, when they begin to really see how they're thinking and operating, they slide down this rabbit hole of despair. You start looking at the identity that's been choosing and reacting in your life. And when you realize that it's making the results in your life, wow, suddenly you feel like you've been locked in a cage. That's not what this exercise is for. This is uncritical observation, emphasis on uncritical. As Bob Proctor so astutely put it once, someone may have been responsible for making you who you are. You are responsible for changing it. Uncritical observation. Here is where I've been. Here is who I have been. But I'm no longer in that place. And I have never been that person with that false identity. Now let's get back to the foundational 3 pillars. Number 2, and this is a huge one. This is the big one. Definition of aim. Definition of aim. You must define a new state of consciousness instead of the you that you are currently operating as. Now, here's where I'm updating Neville a bit. He says to do that, defining a new state, he said that you must define the person you would like to be. But the person you would like to be, that person, that identity, it's nothing about liking to be it. You already are it. It already exists within you. It's why the answer comes so easily for you when you start asking yourself who you would prefer to be. It's already got all the answers for you. Your true identity has always been there in all its glory. It's just been waiting for you to recognize it again, to step back into it again. This is identity shift. The identity shift of you. And this is a gigantic concept that can be swept away in those soft words, definition of aim. So let me say from the Diane record, you will never change until you change your identity. In fact, let me rephrase that. And this is vitally important. You will never change any aspect of your life permanently, not just your wealth, until you return to your true identity, until you stabilize feeling and thinking and acting from who you really are. Now, in the process of working up this episode, I went all the way back to the original script I wrote for Bob Proctor for what we called Creators, Catalysts, and Polka Dotted Fish. Now, I want to remind you what you as a creator and you as a catalyst are, because this has everything to do with these 3 foundational pillars of change. Now, we're going to shift gears a bit here, because none of this works unless you understand what you actually are. And what's equally as vital to understand here, I'm not talking philosophy here. I'm not talking woo-woo here. I'm talking pure mechanics, the quantum physics mechanics of you. You must remember this. You are a creator. You are all energy. Think of it as a sparking, revolving, evolving energetic hub that houses a powerful beam of light within, whose only purpose is to expand that beam of light. You have been put on this planet to continue the creation process in your own life. Anything you think, anything you feel directs energy to immediately move into action, to create the reality of whatever it is you choose to think and feel. once you understand that you have the creator gene in you, your life becomes this endless sea of options and opportunities. You can go anywhere and do anything you choose to do. And you must also remember this: you are a catalyst. We are all energetic bodies in motion. Everything is energy. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but it is always what? Affected, right? In physics, an energetic catalyst is an element that provokes or speeds significant change or action. It happens in nature a million times a day as a rote automatic function. We are energetic catalysts, provoking speed. I love that word, provoke. You are stimulating, you're giving rise to, you're instigating a reaction out there. As a catalyst, you are instantly shifting the energy around you. It doesn't matter if you're conscious or unconscious of this knowledge, you do it anyway a million times a day. You can't stop being a catalyst any more than you can stop an avalanche billowing downhill, but you can stop the kind of energy you're putting out there. When you truly come to understand that you exist as a catalyst on this planet each and every day of your life, your focus immediately shifts from what is wrong or frozen in your life and turns its attention instead to shaping and changing every interaction with all of the energy around you. Did you get that? You can knowingly provoke, stimulate, give rise to, instigate in an instant, so that the conscious energy you put out there is immediately snatched up and moved in such a fast chain reaction that it makes a splitting atom look slow. Neville said, "You and I can be anything in this world we desire to be if we will clearly define our aim in life and constantly occupy that aim." Now, let me frame that for you so that you truly understand what he's saying. This is essential. You can be anything in this world you desire to be when you clearly remember who you are. You are a creator, meaning anything you think, anything you feel directs energy immediately to create. It's not woo woo, it's the built in quantum physics of you. And you are catalyst, provoking speed in any energetic action, instigating a reaction of your own choosing, constantly shifting the energy around you. Creator and catalyst. The definition of aim. I tell my mentoring clients it's actually definition of I am. This is the identity shift back to your true identity. Not something you're becoming, someone you're returning to. Your true identity, it's not defined by your past experiences, your societal conditioning, your perceived limitations, but by your already existing and limitless potential and your inherent permanent connection to your higher power. Now, let's place this back into the structure here. Remember, first is self-observation. You've seen the contrast. You're recognizing how you've been reacting and responding from the current identity you've been holding. Second, definition of aim. In that contrast that you are consciously recognizing, you have defined the state you wish to make visible. Now, note I said make visible, not the state you wish to work hard to create. There's no creating here. The state you wish to make visible is already here. That is your great I am. Now, the third pillar, you are detaching. You are separating from the false identity, the matrix identity, and stepping into your true identity. You are entering that state and abiding there. Abiding. Ooh, why did I choose that word? Because you are the very definition of the word. You are continuing in a lasting presence. You are stabilizing your frequency of your I am. Now, let me quickly wrap here. Neville Goddard said that you and I can be anything in this world we desire to be when we clearly define our aim. Remember? Define our I am, and then constantly occupy that I am. How do you occupy that? Neville's answer: by frequently assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. By frequently assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Well, that sounds pretty easy, right? But it's not that easy, or you would already be where you prefer to be. Typically, this is where almost everyone's intention stalls on the Autobahn or just falls off a really big cliff. Either you've got problem one, you're not recognizing what the false identity, your matrix identity, is reacting and responding to, or you're oblivious to what's causing problem two by not recognizing the truly limitless and powerful you, and or it's the problem three. You're assuming the feeling only part of the time. Neville once said, a little alteration of mood is not a transformation. It's not a real change of consciousness. Because if I change my mood for a moment, it can quickly be rapidly replaced by another mood in the reverse direction. You know, this happens to you every day. You may be in a coffee shop. You may walk in a really good mood. You may stand behind somebody whose energy is so bad. Whoop, whoop, there you go. Assuming the feeling means assuming that I am what the moment denies, what my reasoning mind denies. That is the real shift in consciousness. That's where the real shift in identity occurs. When you are denying what your current circumstances keep bleeding at you about, and when you're able to stay in the frequency of true identity where all needs are met, all opportunities and people are always coming your way, when you're not only able to operate from this knowing space, not wishing, not wanting, not willing, when you are able to operate from this permanent space, you have stabilized that frequency. So now all of your energies are flowing from that state. Then watch your world mold itself in harmony with this inner change. People will come into your world. People will come to aid you. They'll think that they're initiating the urge to help, but they're only playing their part. They must do what they do because you have done what you've done. Having moved from one state, the matrix identity, to the other, the true identity, you have altered your relationship relative to the energetic world. And that changed relationship compels an energetic, true physics-driven change in behavior relative to your world. So people have to act differently towards you. You are coming from a different identity. And see, this is the part that most people miss. They're trying to change what's happening. Trying to change what's happening without ever changing who it's happening